Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome into my YouTube channel. As you guys know, it's Tuesday, so this is the day I'm gonna give you guys my top waiver wire ads. I'm gonna give you my top streamable defenses. This episode is coming out a little earlier than normal. I am working remotely because my job, we're changing office locations. So while they're getting that situation figured out, I'm working at home. So obviously, I was able to get some things done a lot faster than I normally do because I didn't have to drive, the 30 to 40 minutes I had to deal with rush hour traffic here in Tampa to get back home. So obviously that saved me enough time to get this episode out early. So why don't I just go ahead and dive into this episode? I'm doing my waiver wires as always first, and again, this is per Yahoo. They have to have more than 50% availability on roster, so these players are more than likely going to be available in your leagues. So my quarterback out of the week, if you're looking for some help, we'll go with Tyrod Taylor. He's available in 89% of the leagues. Now, I'm not rushing to get Tyrod. Like, I don't think he's going to be the answer to go, save you your league or go win you a championship. But if you are looking for a streaming option, especially this week, because the Colts, he's playing against the Colts defense, they do give up a lot of points to the quarterback position this year. As of last week, I haven't looked into it yet for the start sits, but as of last week, they were giving up a top 5 amount of points per game to quarterback position, and Tom Brady obviously had some success against that defense last week. So with that being said, the Texans stink, right? So the way I'm thinking about this is more than likely this is a team that's going to be throwing a lot because they're trying to play catch up. I know Indianapolis is heavy favorites this week, so I could see Tyrod having to throw the ball quite often. Now, this past week, he had 158 yards to 2 touchdowns. He did have the interception. And then usually he can rush more if he needs to, but he had the 2 rushes for the 30 yards. So he also does offer you a little bit of rushing floor. So again, if you're maybe dealing with your quarterback is on a bye week, maybe there's been a disappointing quarterback for you and you're looking for a streaming option, like I said, I think Tyrod's a good streaming quarterback this week. I don't know if he's going to be the answer for you at the quarterback position long term, but worst case scenario is you got a quarterback that's probably going to be throwing a lot in games. Now, my running back out of the week, I am going with Jamal Williams. He's available in 61% of the leagues. He's now healthy again. He was a viable option with DeAndre Swift at the beginning of the year. Then he got hurt, and then DeAndre has kind of taken over that backfield. Well, now DeAndre's hurt. He's dealing with a shoulder sprain. The way Dan Campbell spoke in the press conference yesterday, he sounds like DeAndre is pretty sore. Now, DeAndre is like basically you could argue the face of the Lions offense right now. Well, the Lions are 0-10. Like, they're not, in my opinion, they're not going to be probably trying to rush Swift back. It's, they at the end of the day, they're not going to make the playoffs, right? So they probably don't want to make his shoulder worse than it is. So I anticipate Jamal is going to probably be the starter this week and take majority of the snaps, even if DeAndre plays. And then who knows if the injury is serious enough or it knocks him out for a couple weeks, you maybe got yourself an RB2 flex option for your lineup. Now, this past week, with Jamal, he did have 15 rushes for 65 yards. He had the 5 receptions for 18 yards on 5 targets. This week, they are going against the Vikings, which the Vikings defense has not been one of the better defenses defending the run this year. We saw what Elijah Mitchell did this past week to that Vikings defense. So Jamal is a sneaky play for you this week, especially if you're dealing with the injuries to the running back position. So, if you're a DeAndre Swift owner, definitely be rushing to pick up Jamal for off the waiver wire. And then maybe if you are a guy that's dealing with a Dalvin Cook injury or maybe even a DeAndre Swift injury, right? Whoever you are the owner of, I would definitely go try to pick up Jamal if he's available in your leagues. Now, my wide receiver ad of the week, an old friend. If anybody's been following me all year long, you guys know I'm a big Van Jefferson fan. I was preaching back in October, saying like, hey, listen, if you're a Robert Woods owner or if you're a Cooper Kupp owner, you needed to pick up Van Jefferson just in case some injuries happen. Now, obviously, the OBJ trade happened, and that kind of made Van go back, and that's why his roster ownership dropped. But then Robert Woods got hurt, and it doesn't matter now. with the OBJ addition because they're running 3 wide receiver sets regardless. So Van Jefferson still has just as much value as he did prior to the OBJ addition. Now this past week he had the 3 receptions for 93 yards. He had that long touchdown against the Packers, and he had 9 total targets. So even with OBJ, even with Cooper Kupp, he's seeing almost 10 targets in a game. So you gotta love to see that. Obviously, he has built some chemistry with Matthew Stafford, even though Stafford's not playing great football as of late. But with that being said, it's going to be an offense that can put up points throughout any given Sunday. And you know, if I want to be a part of a Sean McVay offense, I think Van Jefferson is a viable option for you guys. And then this week they're going against the Jaguars, right? So the Jaguars have one of the worst pass defenses in the league. So if you're looking for an option to play at the wide receiver position, I think Van Jefferson should definitely be picked up, especially if you do have like a Cooper Kupp. I would definitely go get him, because if anything happens to Cooper Kupp, then obviously you definitely want Van Jefferson on your roster. Same thing. If you went and got OBJ, like I would go pick up Van too, just in case anything happens with OBJ, because he's always suspect to injury based on his career. Now my tight end ad of the week, again, tight end's a crapshoot. Who knows how this is going to work out for you guys? So I had to show some love for my Indianapolis Colt, Jack Doyle. He's available in 99% of leagues. This past weekend, he had the 6 receptions for 81 yards, a touchdown on 7 targets. Now, I'm going to be honest, you know, they have Mo Alley-Cox still. Kylan Granson gets some touches. But with that being said, just watching the games every week, Jack has looked as healthy as he has been throughout the season. So that's one thing to note. He's been more involved in the passing attack over the last few weeks. It does seem like Carson is targeting him quite often. You know, Carson's always loved his tight ends. Earlier it was Mo Alley-Cox. Now it's the Jack Doyle train. I don't think he's a long-term option for you, because I don't see this being sustained week in and week out. But the thing with this week, they are going against the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans are one of the worst defenses in the league in terms of fantasy points defending the tight end position. So if you're looking to stream a tight end this week, maybe you're dealing with a Darren Waller injury, you're looking for someone to maybe get you by, you know, a stopgap tight end, I wouldn't mind taking rolling the dice with Jack Doyle, just because he's been more involved over the last couple weeks, and Houston has struggled to cover the tight end position. And then my flex ad of the week, I'm going with Russell Gage, the Falcons wide receiver. He's available in 83% of the leagues. I've noticed that he's been getting more involved over the last couple weeks. You know, Kyle Pitts, you know, he's kind of, I want to say he's struggling. He's just not getting as much production. Obviously, his fantasy owners would like to see out of him. And with, you know, we don't know when Calvin Ridley is going to come back. And it seems like Russell Gage has stepped up and has been able to be a productive wide receiver in the Falcons offense. This past week, he had 6 receptions for 62 yards, a touchdown on 7 targets. Now, they are going against that Bucs defense, right? Well, we saw what the Colts had to do. They couldn't really rush against the Bucs defense, so they had to throw against them. It's going to probably be the same game plan for Atlanta against Tampa Bay this weekend. So that means Russell should be seeing those 7+ targets. I think he's a sneaky like wide receiver 3 play this week. And then, like I mentioned, if Calvin's not going to come back anytime soon, all of a sudden he does provide you value throughout the rest of the season. And then, you know, with Atlanta, more likely, you know, against the good teams, especially like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're probably playing catch up throughout the game. So that makes them more of a pass happy offense, and that could funnel more targets to Russell Gage. So again, my top waiver wire ads for week 13. At the quarterback position, Tyrod Taylor. The running back position, Jamal Williams. The wide receiver position, Van Jefferson. The tight end position, Jack Doyle. And then my flex ad of the week is going to be Russell Gage. Now, moving on to the top streamable defenses. Now, this week, it was really tough for me to really nail down the defenses. There was like no for sure locked in. Like I felt comfortable when I got to, as you can see the list, I felt comfortable with the Dolphins and Vikings, and then I just had to go up and down, you know, the rosters that had the more than 50% availability, because obviously I'm handicapping myself. I don't know, you know, if handicap's the right word, but obviously I put that limit on myself this year, so I'm not giving out like defenses that you guys couldn't go pick up. These are supposed to be defenses that you guys should be able to go check your waiver wire and pick them up if you need to. And yeah, with that being said, the defenses that had more than 50% availability, I was not a big fan of a lot of the matchups this week. But with that, all that being said, let me go ahead and dive into it. But my number one streamable defense this week is definitely going to be the Dolphins against the Giants. Dolphins are available in 56% of the leagues right now. The Dolphins defense is playing as best as it has all season. It seems to be humming at the right moment. And then they're going against the Giants offense, which has been ugly this season. As everybody knows, Daniel Jones is good for at least one turnover or two on any given Sunday. They got Xavier Howard, who could, take a pick six to the house. So I see a lot of sack potential and definitely the turnover potential in that matchup. My number two streamable defense, we got the Vikings against the Lions. The Vikings are available in 80% of the leagues. And guys, it's the same old story with me every time I talk about the Lions every week, right? Jared Goff does Jared Goff things, which is he's going to either fumble the ball or he's going to throw an interception every week. Their offensive line is, it's solid, but with Frank Ragnow being out of the season, the interior can get blown up at some times, so that's where they can get the sacks. So again, this is definitely a matchup I could see the sacks and turnovers happening in your favor. So if you were looking for a defense, I definitely would highly consider the Vikings against the Lions. My number three streamable defense, I decided to go with the Raiders against the football team. The Raiders are available in 94% of the leagues right now. Football team, they're kind of on a hot streak, right? I think they won 3 straight games in a row. They're currently right now in the playoff picture. But with that being said, Taylor Heineke, he could be fun to watch, right? He's like a Milky Way Brett Favre. But he still is suspect to, air mailing balls. He's still suspect of throwing turnovers. He did have a turnover in that game last night because the ball can just sail out of his hands too high at times. And with that being said, the Raiders defense are no slouches. They do show up at times. Max Crosby and Nick Ngakwe have formed one of the top edge rushing tandems in the league. The football team just put Sam Cosmi on IR, so they're down to their back right tackle. And that's at one point last night they were down to I think their 4th center at this point. So I could see that defensive front collapsing on Taylor Heineke quite often, and I could see the sack potential being there. And then, like I said, the ball can sail out of that kid's hands too high sometimes. So I see the turnovers potentially there. So, this is probably at the point of the list that you're probably in a 12 or 14 team league if you're considering one of these defenses. But I think the Raiders could all be a sneaky play for you in week 13. And then my number 4 streamable defense, I'm going with the Chiefs against the Broncos. The Chiefs are available in 73% of the leagues. If you look at that defense coming right before their bye, that like the last 4 weeks, their defenses has been playing really good football. They're creating turnovers, they're getting sacks, they're starting to hit their stride at the right time. So with that being said, they are going against the Broncos, offense, which did find some success against the Chargers, so you kind of get worried there. But then you look at the record. Andy Reid has some, I want to say maybe he's lost 1 or 2 games coming off the bye week. He has an unbelievable record, right? So more likely the Chiefs are going to ball out, and they're probably going to go up big on Denver. So if they go up big, that means they're leaning on Teddy too much, and they're going to be too pass happy. And then that's going to let Frank Clark and Chris Jones get after Teddy, get those sacks, and that's where those potential turnovers could happen. So, again, the Chiefs might be a sneaky defensive play this week. And then going ahead and put a bow on this, I sat here. I'm telling you, the matchups for teams that have more than 50% availability were not that great. My 5th spot, I sat there and debated for quite some time, and I ended up settling on the Saints. The Saints are available in 52% of leagues. They're going against Dallas Cowboys on Thursday night. And my reasoning here is the Saints do have one of the upper echelon rush defenses. You don't really love their secondary, but they have been, a steady defense in their time over the last couple years. So you kind of bet that Cam Jordan and Davenport can get home and get you some sacks. It is a Thursday night game. Now, I know these teams played last Thursday, so it's not like they're coming on a short week. But then, here's what you can factor in, is the Cowboys are dealing with a COVID situation. So Mike McCarthy's not going to coach. It sounds like some other coaches are not going to be involved in this game. I think it sounds like Amari Cooper is not going to play in this game. I think CeeDee Lamb's good to go. Zeke's dealing with the injury, but Jerry Jones says they're going to feed him as much as possible. Who knows what we're going to see basically out of the Cowboys offense with all that they have going on. So, I mean, again, if you're super desperate, I can totally understand. You may be going somewhere else because the Cowboys have a potential to shoot out in this game, but the Saints I just see as a solid defense that maybe can keep the points down and maybe get you some sacks and maybe find a way to create a turnover. But again, that's probably like a 12, 14 team league play because I definitely don't like playing an offense of the Cowboys because the Cowboys can put up points at any given time. So with that being said, my top 5 streamable defenses for week 13. The Dolphins against the Giants, the Vikings against the Lions, the Raiders against the football team, the Chiefs against the Broncos, and then the Saints against the Cowboys. So yeah, that's my video for you guys today. I always do appreciate anybody that tunes into my videos. If you do like this, if you like the Christmas kind of setup I got going on, I know the lights are kind of very honky tonk or like very ghetto if you want to say that. But I wanted to make things festive in my apartment, so I got some lights, decided to hang it around, kind of give you guys a little bit of a background. So if you hadn't impressed you at all, hit that like button. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Other than that, I will be back tomorrow night. I will be doing my top starts and sits for week 13. If you guys have any fantasy related questions, football related questions, you guys know how you can hit me up. You can ask in the comments. You got my number, text me. If you got my Twitter, at me. You can either slide in the DM. You can either at me out publicly. It doesn't matter to me. But I will see you guys then, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night or morning, whenever you guys decide to watch this. And I will talk to you tomorrow.